All right, we live?
We are live. I did
live.
hit the record button.
Live. All right. Unclicked podcast. We're doing a little recap on X Games. Just wrapped up. First off, you killed it, Fudger.
Oh.
You covered every event.
Yeah.
Non-stop,
Yeah,
this guy.
Except Mega Park.
You didn't cover that?
No, I had to shoot photos for Monster. So for that one, because Jeff was busy, so I had to shoot photos.
There shooting
I was
photos.
there. I shot photos for
still
Monster,
covering the event.
But yeah,
Fudger,
no, I covered it. Yeah,
Fudger and Chris Gregson seem like the hardest working people at X Games.
I'm sure
and then right behind them is you, Kevin.
Yeah.
You murdered it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. 2 golds and a silver.
Yeah.
And then, our Willie right there, too. You guys were like, he
Back to
might have been
back.
another
Everyone,
hard.
Really, we were on a pretty crazy schedule from the beginning of the week, from BMX Day to X Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I asked you at the end. I was like, "You gonna ride bikes tomorrow?" Because it just seemed like such a crazy week of BMX, and I did want to start with BMX Day too, because that was like literally the day before Real Street kicked off. So we had the BMX Day Jam. We are recording.
Oh yeah, and real quick, one more thing. Shout out to both of you guys, and then shout out to X Games, because that was out of 15 years of riding X Games, however many, that was probably the best X Games I've ever been to. I loved it.
Yeah, I think so.
I did a little best of video that we're gonna run through so we can keep things concise. But I was texting Albert and I was like, "Do I make the title just the best X Games ever?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, I mean, it was so fucking good. Like,
they kind of scaled back to almost like Dew Tour size.
Yeah,
but it was just amazing.
Yeah,
like,
first event back with people too. It just felt like, I don't know, the sparkle was there. You know,
yeah,
it just felt nice.
Completely sold out every day.
Yep,
everyone was hyped on everything, and it's so good.
The weather was amazing.
So good when the skaters, the BMXers, the moto guys, and all of us just get to hang out, because we don't get to ever do that.
No, yeah, in the athlete lounge, and then practices all day long, getting to play in the parks. The parks were super cool, thematic.
They had little parks for kids to ride too.
Outside, yep, the little village.
There was a lot.
There's so much things to do. Yeah.
The only gripe I heard is that the park competition, you needed like extra tickets to see it.
I did hear that.
Yeah, so it was like, so if next year, like I think it caught a lot of people off guard and they were pretty bummed. So if you want to see park next year, like your general admission tickets, I guess they get you on the ground floor so you can see all the ramps and stuff. And the only competition you can't really see is the park competition. Yeah. So just be mindful of that next year. So I know a couple of people were pretty bummed at that,
and I'm gonna say I said all the positive things. I have one negative thing to say. Can't be all positive. I did a little interview for X Games. They asked what could be changed, and I was like, the one thing that would be cool if they changed is bring back BMX specific park courses.
Yeah,
because it's a great course and they do really have us in mind with it. But if you actually go out there and ride that course and see how hard those quarter pipes are to ride, because they're meant for skaters to grind around.
Yeah,
they're not meant for us to rip, and there's not many transfers because everything's just bam. So it's like grateful that we get to ride a cool course and they do have us in mind. But our own course, like back in the day where Morgan Way just pocket aired all over everything.
Like the super parks, the wooden
things.
ones, classic Scotty.
Just one negative thing I got to put on.
Yeah.
No, that's understandable, and we'll jump into all that stuff. So let's. BMX Day was so just to be clear, BMX Day is 7/20 every year, and you remember that because there is no March 60th, there is no 360, but there is a 7/20. So 7/20 every year. July 20th is International BMX Day. We held our San Diego Jam the day before because of X Games. We held it on the 15th, I believe. So this is a long video. We're not going to watch the whole thing or whatever, but highlights are there. And just what you just saw right there, I think is one of my personal highlights. Obviously, it all coming together. You know, I was giving it like 30% odds that the rainbow ledge and like all this stuff would like come together.
Yeah, Fudger was real worried, but it ended up being, he was like, how are we going to compete with the other BMX days around the world? And
it worked out great.
I mean, there was some of that.
But he wanted it to be as good, like another cool
Well,
one.
you saw how cool the other ones were, all the cash up stuff, and an influx of $5,000. I was like, man, like there's got to be some like danger spots. You know, like there's got to be some like Sendy stuff, and then we kind of
you're not allowed to push people in BMX. That's not cool.
Right?
No way. Like,
well, so the front flip challenge.
Don't give people money for doing anything crazy. It has to be as safe as it can get.
But I think my personal highlight was definitely seeing like Nathan ride the rainbow ledge, and you ride, and Kevin, Matt Ray, Devin,
everyone,
everybody, like there were so many heavy names there, and most of them rode knowing, like, as particular Nathan was going down the rainbow ledge, and it's like he had the real street contest the next day,
you know,
and like you were ascended on this gap to wall for $300 I knew you wouldn't even take. And it was like, and it was like, this is crazy, you know, like he has like the biggest event of the year within the,
I think how hard I can splat into a wall. Why not? Why not?
But I think that's what's so special about BMX, where it's like we would go out and do that anyways, knowing that tomorrow we have a busy week, crazy schedule. But I mean, the energy was good, the vibe was good, the setups were fun.
And I think they're both still there. I know for a fact the Rainbow Ledge is there. I'm not sure about the pocket wall anymore, but
what pocket wall? You mean the camouflage one that
the
nobody
camouflage,
can see?
the invisible one,
the invisible one that got painted almost the same as the corner.
So if you see it in here, like the pocket wall is like kind of the same color, because I shot photos of it at night and I was like, there's no way this paint is gonna match. But I was like, oh, let's just try.
From the distance, though, you don't.
Albert went and painted it the morning right before the jam. Cool. So yeah, it was pretty funny.
Not to mention the cops were amazing, super cool, super helpful. Yeah, they were just trying to keep us out of the way for traffic, to watch out for us more than anything. So
yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a
cool
trip.
Cops.
You get a big group of people together that aren't causing any trouble and aren't harming things, and like the cops were like helping us.
Yeah, they thought it was awesome too. They're out there filming, watching us. They're just watching traffic so we don't get hit by cars. Really.
Yeah.
San Diego is a very cool, friendly place. Like we're filming with the Odyssey dudes right now, and they just the last 2 days just can't believe how nice everyone is here.
Yeah.
You know, compared to like different cities. Like
I think
everyone's chill.
Everyone that does work a day-to-day job knows action sports, or it is a hobby of theirs. You know, they all either skate or surf or ride BMX or mountain bikes. Like it's all normal. So like everyone's pretty used to it.
Yeah, and
like Dennis said, though, good people doing good things and not causing any harm or destroying anything, then obviously they're going to take care of us.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get away with some pretty amazing things. Get a big group of people together and have some fun.
How many people do you think there was out? 400 people?
Somebody said 400.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was definitely more.
A lot of times
more
people would
than
scatter, like everyone would be in one group, but then you look around
and they'd be riding other stuff just around.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it definitely gave me the feel goods that everything came together and all that stuff. So
that was a little preview day before X Games really kicked off.
Yeah, great way to start the week for sure.
The one thing was that when I cleaned out Gary's van, because Gary let me borrow his van to kind of orchestrate things for the day, that we had extra prize packs that didn't get given out. So I wanted to go ahead and give them out, and I'm gonna do a very YouTube-y thing. We set up memberships, and so if you want to sign up for a membership, we got 4 things to give out. We got 2 gift bags that have a bunch of stuff: S&M socks, Odyssey grips, ourbmx hat, another gift bag, and then we got premium,
some pedals,
plastic slims, Mike Gray signature premium seat, so
BMX hat,
and then a stack of probably never gonna be printed again cash up stickers and monster stuff too. So
let me get one.
You can get one for sure.
Give
So there's a membership button somewhere, but there's little perks.
You gotta be a
like
member
that.
and then
be a member to
a new one?
Yeah, I'll pick 4 winners within the next
you guys
couple
tap
of days,
in on the membership to our BMX account. Don't miss out on all the content that's going to be produced.
I think maybe we'll do some like live stream stuff when the guest is comfortable too. So it'll be like a member only live stream and stuff like that, so people can get that. So
that's cool.
One a month.
That'd be a good one with Kyle Carlson,
right?
Hear the shit he really says,
right? I know,
the unfiltered.
There's been one episode, I won't mention it, that got 35 minutes shorter. That after
so if you be a member, you can hear that editing. 35 minutes.
So I don't know if they'd
after
be comfortable
a few
with the
ales.
Yeah, so.
I'm down. I don't care.
And shout out to Dale's.
Actually,
we got
you
2
never
left.
wanted.
We have 2 left. Sponsor of the podcast it started in March, so we're coming up almost 6 months right now. So
Thank you, Dale's.
Awesome. So
not drinking right now. It's way too early.
Yeah, that's the business aspect of it. So we'll move on. I'll clear all this stuff off. So X Games, the first event was the
Real Street.
So let's do the best of. I gave you guys both the thumbnail just because you guys were going to be here. No, not really, but so was that 6 days of BMX condensed into like 15 minutes. Cool. So that's just the intro. But at the infamous Rincon set, Dennis was a judge.
I was.
Yeah,
and
Kevin watched the live stream.
I watched the live stream. I didn't wake up on time.
You guys know there was a couple that were very, very hard to pick from. Like let's talk about the 5 truck and the 3 table.
Yeah.
So there was like 3 different categories.
Spot's no joke.
How hard the trick was, the cleanliness of it, and spot usage. And they were damn near the same across the board. So we could have almost flipped a coin for that one. That one could have went either way. It took a lot of talking about that. And then there was a few others that were really close too. This event was the sickest shit ever.
I think it's cool too, because even like BMX Day, where all these dudes were out riding with the kids and with the community, they had one of the hardest contests to start the week as well.
Brett rode. Brett rode
that
at
was
BMX
something
Day.
amazing right there.
Garrett too, straight to this big monster of a 5-bar down that set, knowing that he had to ride that week too, and it's like you would do it regardless. I think that's what's cool about BMX. Look at that. That's so savage too.
Yeah. The fact that he just folded it too, first try, like it is picture perfect.
And then Colin's been talking about that years and wanting to do it, and he got it done first try.
And the way Colin landed too, like the cleanliness, that you could watch like the replay of Brett's 3 table and how he's such a monster dude, and still feels that impact on the bounce after a 3. You can see see how big the spot is. It's no joke. You got Colin doing the fakey hop, and he's so smooth with the landing too.
Like when it comes to like the 540 bar and like the 360 table, I think the fakey hop is definitively like
the fakey hop was above the 2.
You know, and I mean the argument is
not by much, but that one won, and then this was the argument. I think that anybody else had anything controversial about the judging, it was between the 5 truck and the 3 table.
Yeah,
and even me, Dak, and Biz, the judges, like the whole contest, we were like, man, can Brett or Garrett just do something that, like, you know, they were just so close across the board in all the categories we had to judge on. And it ended up going to Brett just because it was like the spot usage. And
spot usage over the rail, the hop, the pop, the perfection.
When you think of Rincon, I don't think of the rail. I don't think of the 4 block. I think of the gap. I think the rail.
The one thing
that is Rincon, you know, and I think that's the most important thing. And you could see the difference, like.
But what was really hard about that, though, too, is like that 4 block is so massive. It's a mountain. 5 truck down. So it's like,
I would hate to be a judge. I don't know how you guys did it. Yeah.
It was probably like one of the easier contests to judge because it's just one trick against one trick. But there's a few like, you know, 4th place, 6th places that were like that, too. You know, I can't remember. I'd have to see the list, but.
So one thing
that one was the most controversial because it was 2nd and 3rd, and it was like, whoo, we didn't know.
I think you guys got it right, and I think at the same time, if you were like, if Garrett was 2nd and Brett was 3rd, I would have been like, I think you guys got it right. You know, like
they're both
dude,
just as
it's
good
like
in their
that's
own
your
ways.
opinion.
That's what's tough
like,
is, you know, I think anyone could agree it could have went one or the other way, but it is these guys a difference in thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
and that's where it's like, fuck, like I want to make this right as a judge, like as right as I can.
And it was you, Chad, Biz.
Chad was just up there with us.
Oh, okay. We
asked for Chad's advice on a few things, so he was helping.
Oh, yeah, right.
Cool.
Non-paid judge.
That's funny because I saw him up there, and I think I put it in the video that he was a judge, so I got that wrong. But
it was Biz, Dak, myself, and Chad was like, helping us.
All right, so you, Biz, and Dak. That's a solid crew, and if you
with
guys
side opinion from Chad,
So if you guys came to that conclusion, then I'm good with it. So, one thing that I was curious about is that Garrett was trying the half cab bar, and he pulled it, or he did it like 3 times, I think. And I was thinking he was doing bar, and then I looked at the footage, and I'm not sure he is.
He was, because I thought the same thing. I was like, is this guy gonna just blow everyone's mind and do half cab bar to whip and get like a 110 out of 100?
Yeah.
But he was trying bar, and it's just such a big set that you kind of just like thought like, oh, he might be trying something else, but it's like, no, look at how big that set is. Just a half cab that thing is a monster.
All right.
So he was trying.
I saw his feet get a little light. I saw his feet get a little light on the pedals.
He caught those bars at like 10 degrees.
So good too.
Yeah.
He caught the bars at like 10 degrees, and it looked like, is he gonna just blow everyone's mind and shut the game?
And he
down?
like,
and only Garrett would.
And he overcooked the half cab a little bit too, you know. Like, so I was like, man, is he gonna do a half cab bar whip right now?
But when the dust settled, it's been talked about. It was like he was going for half cab double bar, and that is such a banger.
That's insane.
On itself.
I saw him doing like
we just lost, like we got desensitized to this 10-foot monster back there,
right,
you know, when everyone was just laying down the
it became a normal session with all these. And what's real cool about this is that this school alone has been ridden and skated for years, and for the first time, like, you could actually get away with riding it, and it's like now you really feel more comfortable than ever. Like, I want to come and tire ride it like Nathan was trying, but I don't know if I can do that within 15 minutes and potentially getting arrested or getting a cop to come in. And it's like, there's all those factors that you have to take into play. This time it's like full game, wide open. I even heard, I think the school director on one of the interviews said, like, people have been coming in here for years. This is the first time people I've ever asked. Like, you guys are welcome to come back now. Like, thanks for asking.
It's a pretty cool concept to try and see if you can get a permit and throw a contest instead of building a course.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I know it's been done back in the day, but X Games doing it.
What other spots would there be?
There's a million.
Like in Southern California, like
we were doing the Brakeless TV thing, and we did
that school in Claremont was pretty good.
Claremont, we did the manual pads as like a techie one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends what you're trying
Whatever
to
spot, and invite the people for the spot.
Yeah.
But even here too, it's like it had the 4-block, it had the rail, and it had the overhop rail, you know? And so it's like it had 3 different options for 3, you know, all these 3 different styles, you know?
Best spot ever would be the Garfield School in Washington, Seattle.
Oh yeah.
And just there's like 10 different options. You'd have to like move the crowd around.
Yeah.
That would be, you could do like a straight up jam there. Like,
that'd be stressful.
That would be gnarly. You got Hoder doing his gap again.
TV people would be losing
it. Would have enough cables.
Where is it going?
I think Stu mentioned
more
that,
extensions.
Like, oh my god, it's like a skate park.
Yeah. And then Brad, I think Brad was, you know, he obviously had a rough go with the, just worth mentioning is that it was like super bright because it was at like 1 p.m. super bright. And then the shadow was like basically on the rail, and the rail was like kind of a darker blue, you know? So he wanted to do, I think he wanted to warm up with the bonk 180, and then his ultimate goal was bonk 3, which would have been manual bonk 3.
Yeah, I think the shadow, I even watched the live stream, and I could tell that the shadow literally started where the block ended, you know, so.
Timing wise, I think it, you know, I mean,
it definitely affects what you're trying to do for sure. Especially Brad, he can't really see the blue rail with the blue background. Like you're coming towards this crazy drop. Like
Brad's got bad eyes too. Like you won't.
Yeah, he got LASIK, but he still said it. He still said, he's like,
he doesn't like filming at night at all.
Yeah,
or anything.
he doesn't any low light stuff. Brad shies away.
I feel that.
So.
Yeah, low light.
Jordan Godwin too, ice hard, down
crook hard. Look at that rail. That rail was straight into the ground.
Did he do crook hard?
He did crook hard.
I missed it then
because he had ice hard and it was like tied with someone else, and he did the crook hard and it was like, oh thank God, like
oh wow,
it's even harder than ice.
But even that, like that alone, like because it could have been 2 different contests, like on the rail and on the drops, you know, and it's pretty hard to judge for sure.
That is where the judging did get a little hard.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's
incredible event though.
Incredible event. Yeah, awesome. Fucking super hyped that X Games did this. I remember seeing the skate one.
Colin, Brett, and Garrett, you guys absolutely smashed it. So sick to start the week that way.
To show people like what it's like for riders to get a banger is basically what this contest was.
These are all enders, you know. This is a spot people come to get their ender for video parts.
Yeah, and so people got to watch the behind the scenes.
Yep. And the whole crew was there. People were watching. All the skate dudes that were going right after were there.
Dirt qualifying. So I think what was it? 16 dudes.
16 to 8.
Yeah, and only 2 runs,
yep.
Which I think was to the dismay of a few people. Usually, I would think the normal at events is like 3.
Yeah, 3 runs, best run counts. But this time it was only 2 runs, best run counts.
Yeah.
These were some of the best jumps I've ever seen to get like the craziest tricks. So you had to do a banger on every fucking jump to make it to the finals.
Yeah.
Look at that. That jump is huge. That'd be that he just 360 Superman. That would be the biggest jump at any trails.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Any trails.
Yeah.
Dude.
And qualifying is always just as hard as finals, like because all these dudes can potentially qualify, so they're all trying to make it in.
Yeah,
we're all going so hard, you know. My sketchy ass was out there shaking my legs. It was just too early for me. I couldn't even put it together. I was like, dude, these guys are going, and I got to ride my hardest, you know. And had a few little slip ups, but like as you can see, like everyone was, you know. And
it's okay. It's the one event you didn't get a medal in. So
I mean, you can't win them all.
Yeah, you can.
No.
Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, you actually can.
No.
You can't.
If he didn't slip his pedals, he's actually won this.
You actually have won them all. Oh yeah.
Only rider to ever win dirt, street, and park. I think someone was like, "Yeah, Jay Miron did it," but that's when park and street.
I think I was me, and I think I was joking.
But I think he did win dirt and street and park, but it was street and park was the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So obviously, I mean, the level was insane.
Insane riding.
Yeah.
Like I said, the qualifying was like a final.
Yeah,
you know?
I think there was some controversy over Sandoval's run. He was like an 11th, and it's like I think there was a controversy in like the style and maybe what a judge said, but. I
mean, it all goes down to a little bit of everything: height, variety, perfection, style, use, you know, like choice tricks. It really is all of it, you know. And like I said before, like the semifinals is just as hard as potentially podium and getting a medal. It's just as hard.
Yeah. There was no people weren't pulling punches. I mean, you saw it. Like Levo was like, you know, he's going for the top 8 right there, and that's what he felt like he needed to do in order to be competitive.
Yeah, potentially to qualify, you have to do your winning run, and then go even crazier to get a medal. You know,
Yeah.
It's insane how, and the jumps were so nice too, and the weather was so nice. Like, it was so sick to see the turnout too of people. Like, look at that. This is qualifying.
No, this is finals.
Oh, this
now.
is finals.
Yeah,
all right.
but I mean, this is insane. So that he did, and then I mean,
double front flipping the first set every go, and then David too. You know, savages. All these.
I don't even think this is his best run. I think I filmed his actual best run. Crappy,
double tuck.
But.
Yeah, this
is so gnarly, right?
Yeah.
Yacht. Like, that's crazy.
Like he did, so Ryan Williams did double front, the front
forward,
flip, inward
bike flip,
and then what? Another front flip,
tuck,
and then
double flip,
backflip, double backflip 360.
Then he did the Aussie roll.
And then he did the Aussie roll.
So, but he blew his feet off or whatever. But I mean, like, and then Logan with the opposite quad whip.
Yes,
that's
switch
gnarly. 7-bar bar. And that jump in the middle was so hard to clear, and like, bop.
Opposite quad whip.
Yeah,
it's insane.
He's the only person that does opposite triple whip that I know of.
Yeah,
someone else.
I mean, literally, like in the clip, I go, "Was that opposite?" Like I'm like, I just couldn't believe it. Like I
turned it into his normal.
Like, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
yeah, man, this one got so crazy because the jumps were just so perfect, and all these guys are so good at these huge tricks.
No wind, great riding,
yeah.
Giant airbags now. These it's a different thing. Like you almost need more jumps to judge it. Like
to judge it fairly.
It's like, how do you judge that run compared to that run?
Yeah.
Like it isn't Rincon where you're like, okay, I can really break it down. But this is like you need hours to judge this properly.
Oh yeah,
hours.
Like dissect it.
Yeah, afterward, watch the replays, one jump.
And it's so hard for the judges. They only get about like 40 seconds or something to judge.
So the judges were Gary Young, Biz again, Ryan Jordan, and Mark Losey.
Brian Kaczynski.
No, Brian Kaczynski.
Mark Losey, I think, was head judge, just looking over all the numbers.
Okay, and Brian Kaczynski, and then
yeah.
But doesn't Losey has some sort of say, right?
I think if there's like an emergency, but that's what.
I think Losey just looks over the score and like puts it in.
Okay, all right.
I think like, all right, you guys, good. All right, cool, put it in
and make sure everybody's on point and
he's
stuff like that.
So those guys.
I mean, it's 3 ex-pros that pay attention. I mean, 2, Biz was former dirt world champion, Gary was former world champion, X Games gold medalist, and Kaczynski is an X Games medalist,
all-around
rider as well.
Yeah, that's on the positive note though, but at the same time they don't know the differences in all these tricks.
Yeah,
they're a little bit like, they do know they're awesome, amazing riders, but in Biz, he was a dirt world champion in 2005.
Yeah.
But it is like, if you really, really want to get the best judges, it should be the guys that just didn't get invited. To this. To this. Because I think those guys are good at judging certain things. But this one, Kaczynski judging this, and Gary and Biz, they don't know the difference between we've kicked all these tricks, even if we haven't done them. But I never kicked a frontward bike flip thing. But it's
I think the conversation I heard,
it's hard. They're good judges.
Super hard.
They're good judges.
Potentially getting the triple challenge judges for dirt. Because
do those guys know these tricks too?
They do a pretty good job. I mean,
should be as modern as possible.
There's not much controversy with those judges, right?
Not too much. No, not at all. Really.
I mean, I think there was beginning of Anaheim last year or this year.
Those guys do a great job. It was it doesn't even matter who the judges are. This would be so hard. This contest was just so hard.
Yeah.
The only thing I can really think of is you put the same riders as judges, because
I was just thinking that,
you really
and then it's still going to get controversial.
If the judges were doing the same stuff these guys were doing now, they would be riding.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's almost so
you're never
hard
going to find those judges, right?
Yeah, so you're never going to find the judges that are doing the exact tricks and know exactly what the jumps feel like.
But
now,
Stu with Rincon, me and Dak both got invited to Rincon, and we're like, I don't really have a best trick for it. I'll let someone else go for it, and they put us as judges. So it's like,
you said it well right now. The guys that didn't get the invite, but they could potentially also win this too.
I think you guys. I think
it's a hard.
I think Rincon's pretty straightforward one, and I think you guys also got a little lucky, because if Brett would have pulled the 540, you would have had no right, no wrong. It would have been a harder a harder, because these things, they just fucking boil down to nuance shit. You know,
this is crazy. Yeah,
yeah. You get like, all right, well, I got this guy doing a fucking no-handed whatever 1080 from cork versus a double front.
I mean, I would
versus
hate
this versus that versus this.
I wouldn't want to be a judge.
Yeah,
no way.
And those guys are experienced judges too. They've done a lot of contests, so they do know what's going on. Compared to if you just take these other guys that maybe they're not going to take it seriously. And I know Biz, Gary, and Kaczynski take it super seriously.
They're all BMX nerds. They keep up with what's happening, all the tricks. They know the switch. They know the regular. They know the riders as well. Like, that's something I could definitely.
You know what they should do is they should actually just change it to where it's just timed, and whoever goes over the jumps the fastest and they get to the end at the finish line.
Yeah. I'll pedal up that.
That'll be the only way. That'll be the only way. There's no controversy.
Yeah, and they have to get these scores in so fast.
That's what it is too. It's really hard. It's
hard.
Yeah. It's like I said. It's super hard to have the judges to even just be tapped in with the level of riding. Like, even the riders that didn't make the finals wouldn't be good enough judges. And
because there's bias and stuff like that too. You don't know, like, those. I mean, the judges take that shit seriously.
They do. I know they
like
really do.
They do, and
they killed it. They had a bunch of events to work on during the week too. And so.
I don't think there was any controversy in dirt outside of the. I put some stabilization on this one, the bouncing Brady Baker in the corner.
I mean, it's like you said before, though, like, the level of riding and qualifying was so gnarly that, like, anybody could have made the final. I don't think there should be any controversy.
Yeah. But
this was awesome. A youngster coming in. He's
first
only 20.
X Games, first medal, gold medal.
Won one of the hardest events to win.
Did a trick that no one's ever done in a contest.
And he's like, this is his first year as being a pro, too. Like, he's like a straight up rookie.
I remember.
That's cool.
Triple Challenge Anaheim, he made the final. I was like, dude, congrats, first final in a pro contest. Like, dude, celebrate that, and he's like, dude, I can't believe it. He's like shaking, walking up the roll, and I was like, you did it, bro. You're in here. You earned it.
And he's won those too, right?
He won the
last one in Nashville.
So he's been doing it.
And it was
just started, but he's doing it.
It was like he made the final in Anaheim, and I think he made the final in Arizona, but it was like he wasn't able to, like, put the run together that he wanted, and then it finally came together in Nashville, and he won. And then it's like he just, like,
it gave him that
had that power up coming into here type thing. So
that confidence he needs. The need you're chasing during the whole.
He's amazing.
Beginning of the career. He's just getting started. He's so young, super cool kid, very respectful as well. Both him and Caden Stone too. Like, we're watching Best Trick now. Like, Brady's doing casual double whips mid set, and it's him and Caden Stone, first X Games. They both walk out with medals.
Oh man,
that's nasty.
That's like warm-up one.
And I bet all these tricks...
Craziest dirt contest ever, then right back to the
craziest... Back to a big...
Craziest best trick contest ever. That's how, good dirt jumps, they always lead to that.
That shit's insane.
That used to win best trick contest. You know, it's like...
And that's... I feel like that's the best one he's ever done, too.
Guaranteed,
It was like...
Goodbye, bike. Yeah. That's crazy. First try to...
Our Willie is such a cool dude, and he's like... become like a mascot of X Games or something. He's so charismatic. Even when he falls, he makes everyone crack up. He's a straight up character.
Like, look at him in this. He's like, ooh.
Look at him. He's hilarious. One time he slid down the landing and made it look like a canoe. And I'm like,
He's just being himself, And I think that's what's cool about BMX.
Dude, this is one of best tricks too. Like, so many of these tricks have won best tricks, and now it's like not anymore. Like, these tricks are so crazy, but now there's new ones.
the still of that. But I feel like Ryan Williams going to the Triple Challenge events and unleashing these, like, new tricks every single time has made everybody go, fuck,
he's going
here.
He's bringing everyone up.
Yeah,
they're like, oh god,
that's the progression of BMX, whether you like it or not, and
a new guy always comes.
A new guy is always going to bring something new, and like, he came from the scooter world and he wasn't respected at the beginning, and he really came in. He still acts like himself with it, which is also awesome too. He doesn't change. And he's progressing the sport in ways that we can only really dream of, and pushing every other rider to do their best in semifinals, let alone finals. Now best trick, just elevating the sport and having fun.
He's actually having fun.
bringing this whole different community of kids that didn't even know BMX before.
Yeah, and he is exactly the image he portrays. He does not put on a show. He does not put on, he is
before and after.
Yeah,
yep.
he puts on.
He drank a couple of those Dales at like 11 in the morning, and then did the first time I've ever seen anyone do a legit flare pocket air at my ramps afterwards. Then drove back to Long Beach for some dinner with Nitro Circus. And who knows what he did the next day? I don't know.
Yeah,
just
probably something crazy.
Trying crazy shit.
So shout out to Ryan Williams. We didn't even talk about. And then he won this Best Trick event and donated his money to Pat's family.
Yes,
which is incredible. Yeah.
So and he was on the Instagram. Like I did that post. He's on the Instagram and he's rallying for riders to get paid more money too. He's like, hey, Best Trick should be the same amount of money as the other things because it's less money. It's like
good man. He's wearing he has holes in his Vans,
Yeah,
like he's like, these shoes are sick. They bend around my pedals. Like Colin's like, I sent him new shoes, but he's waiting till those things to rip off the bottom until he starts wearing.
Until he has to put on.
Yeah, he's a real one.
Full on trooper too.
Yeah,
he lost one of his good friends. He was wearing his helmet too, which is special. And he's like, just being a full on character and juicing off of that fuel.
Yeah, and that's so. Just for I put these in kind of like order of gnarliness. So like he does the double flip 360 first.
Yeah.
And then he pulls the thing he wins with, the front bike flip, and then he does this front flip Superman whatever it is
for the crowd.
Just for no fucking reason.
Just for the crowd.
Yeah, just for the crowd.
And then does Ryan Williams, you are the man.
He is. He is. So
thanks for coming into BMX.
And then that
J2E2,
This one got slept on, obviously.
Oh my god, dude! There's so much that's going into that. This too, I think. Like, I would hate to be a judge for this contest. I'm in the crowd watching, like
Me
a
too.
spectator.
I was
and
like,
I'm
this is so fun.
Holy shit!
Yeah, people give the judges a lot of shit, but man, this is the hardest weekend ever of judging, ever. Because everyone
Stone too, sprinting down that roll, and
that's 4 360s, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 with
the
the
last
front flip.
like a front flip. Yeah,
Caden too. First legit X Games Road Mega Park on Monday.
Yeah,
I think he came in.
He did pretty good.
Pretty good. He did the run he wanted to do, and then coming into Best Trick and just going all out, all in. And I think he got silver. And him and Ryan Williams were like at the very end. Neither of them knew what was going to win. And it's like
even there's two things. I think you can hear it in hear both of them in my video. He says like Ryan Williams told him to take that extra pedal down the roll-in so he can go faster. And then two, he says he comes by my camera and after Ryan pulls his shit and he's like, Ryan Williams just beat me. Like literally, so he called it as Ryan Williams wins,
even he knew,
So it's like, it's one of those things like that. I think
and
maybe
then Godziak's trick too is like just
insane.
as comparable. Like I think like 6 people could have almost won. And
like I said, I would hate to be a judge.
This
I have no idea.
And then on David's,
oh my god,
David's Instagram post, he said he's retiring from competing in BMX.
Yeah,
and was that like because of judging unfairly, or was he already gonna stop competing?
Was he gonna stop before? Was he
that's a shame because he's fucking so sick.
I don't know exactly, but I know that literally the weekend after X Games, he's in Whistler for Crankworks doing another mountain bike event, and I know he's been enjoying those events a lot, especially with his older brother too. And
he seems like such a nice guy that he wouldn't worry too much about judging and stuff. And his English is not his first language.
I think he
sometimes I can't
just fallen into mountain biking way more now.
I don't think that's a post.
Oh yeah, that's a pinned one. So I was like,
it was his trick.
Yeah, that one's sitting right there. And he just
I'm ready to retire from competing in BMX, and then
ciao.
third place. Ciao. So it seems like
might as well keep doing it, man.
it seemed like the comments were inferring that because he got third, he was retiring.
That's what I was wondering.
Like,
I mean, you could think that, but I think like Dennis said, he's such a good guy. I doubt he'd be bummed about the judging, and I know he knows the level of riding is insane. Like, I'm sure he respects the 2 guys that got medals above him, but
he was sick because he tried the same trick like 3 times and didn't land it, and then he just did that one. That seemed even crazier.
Yeah.
I don't know about crazier, but just like that shit would look.
That didn't make any sense when I watched it. I was like, what?
Go take a piss real quick.
Yeah. So I did the.
Yeah, shout out to David. Keep riding BMX, bro.
So I did this this post just to kind of see what the consensus was, and there was a lot for Godziak, more than I expected. But I mean, there's like definitive people like Carl Emmers who landed the first 1440.
Yep.
You know, he says, you know, Ryan Williams like is monstrous. It has a huge risk, technical side, and the trick itself is just wild, not taking away from the insanity of Godziak in the slightest. Or W with the 14, all tricks are absolutely insane, but the goal dropped in the right spot. You know,
I mean, you see David do the 360 with the body variable, but you also Ryan did the same thing in a front flip potentially.
Yeah, yeah. You know? And Godziak had done it before. He had done it at Nitro Circus. So this idea that it was like this brand new, never ever been done type thing wasn't really.
They're both pretty similar when it comes to rotating and letting go of the bike completely. Like,
I think I have it right.
Obviously, they're two different tricks, but when you really put them into consideration of what they both were, one's 360 and he's 360 and around, the other one's front flipping, throwing the bike around. They're both just as gnarly, and the risk factor is gnarly. They're both dangerous. They're both on the first jump.
They're both tricks you'd like mess around with in a foam pit and be like that.
So
it doesn't work.
Here's Godziak pulling the 360 body varial before. So like 2 years ago. What is that? 317 weeks. Damn, that's like 4 years ago.
And it was a lot different than the one that
it looks. Yeah, it's less of a. It's almost like a body varial to 360.
It looks like those decade catch 360s.
Yeah,
onto a way less gnarly of a jump because that's just a big giant resi, which is still gnarly, but to do it on a massive
on the first set of that
real
jump,
first set.
Yeah, I wonder.
It's hard. Yeah, like I said, not taking away from it.
He does kind of rotate a little bit differently.
Oh, they're both just as nasty. Like I watched this and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, shout out to all those dudes. Honestly, like the best trick contest went off. Like dudes are doing tricks that could have won a best trick contest anywhere else. You know, you have the best athletes in the world doing best tricks. What more do you want?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely.
Yeah,
there's like 200, 300 comments. You know, like there's one for everything, and I think that's the only real takeaway is that judged events are subjective. And,
that's the thing. Everyone's got their own fans, and you really realize that at X Games because I like posted my park run, and I was kind of like, it's whatever. And you know, you see people like, you should have podiumed. And I'm like, you guys are just fans of mine because there's no goddamn way. Like, you know what I mean?
I think we all feel that way.
And then you look at other people's posts, and then you're like, oh, it's just that's why judging's so hard. Everyone's got their opinion on what they like the best.
It's like music, bro. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And like this, you're adding new things to your personality, to the flavor of BMX, and I think
And every couple of years, judging changes. So it's like
judging changes, and even your own mentality, like you said right now. Like we all feel that way after doing a run. Like it could have been better. We could have done more. I could have, I would have added this. I would have done that. But it is what it is, and how it plays off with everyone else's riding as well.
Yeah. So there you have it. There is no answer. The answer is whatever you want it to be. Basically.
Except for we killed it on the Rincon judging.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you guys did great. You know, Kevin killed it. I killed it holding the button camera. So there's type through Jordan vlog win. Lots of practice clips from street. Obviously, I think these are, kind of the stuff that.
So good to see Chad back on his bike too. He had a little injury leading the whole year, and then missing X Games Japan, coming back to Ventura. Boyd too, fresh off of a gold medal in Japan.
The street's probably the hardest to judge from because there's not a bunch of street contests. And so, but there's a bunch of people out there that, like Boyd, he was an second alternate in Japan, ended up getting in because a couple people couldn't ride it, and then ended up winning. So now he's in X Games.
Yeah.
And then he got a second, so he's in X Games. The next one, he'll be in the next one. He'll probably be.
Yeah. It's so hard to judge,
Like Chad was an alternate in this one, and he's like one of the only people to ever beat Garrett, in the beginning. So, and he was already an alternate.
Yeah,
there's only 8 people invited. Street.
I think that's the one miss. Besides other thing discussed, is there should be more people.
More street contests.
Well, there should be more people. I think it should be 16 and
16,
elimination.
Cut it down to 8.
Yeah, or at least 12 and just do a bigger final.
And have a nice qualifier at a good park that kind of, or a good spot that kind of resembles what the street course is going to be like, and that's how you're going to get the best dudes for the contest.
Yeah, so shout out to Grant and Jordan for helping me filming practice rather. just because they were all at the same time. So
yeah. So both park and street were literally on the same 3-hour block. You know,
that's why there's not any real Kevin clips.
I never filmed anything with you guys.
No, yeah. I think you had one. You had a couple clips in the video, but
even Jordan, man.
Jordan should be in the contest. He's so good, you know.
Yeah. You know, look at Bruno. Bruno's not in it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many dope dudes. Me and Chad was looking at the list from like 10 years ago, and he's like, there's nobody in it besides him and Garrett from, you know, that generation.
That's insane. I mean, like Dak too. Yeah. Dak could kill it. Lacey.
If they make
it was like Sexton, you know, like remember the OG crew of the dudes that you thought would be in it forever? Even Van. None of them are in it besides Garrett and even Chad was later on, you know. Like I'd already been riding Street X Games for a few years before Chad got the actual.
It's crazy how it goes because like you say Dak, and it's like Dak could kill it if the course
caters to the style.
Dak would have murdered this course.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with the riding too. You know, the course really caters to certain styles of riding. You know, like I got to ride the CATF, like the facility, and it was like, well, this is cool, but like
that's where I retired my X Games Street.
Yeah, and it was one of those
that
things.
one, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
But then I seen the course like this,
my
and I'm
style,
like,
and there's other riders that could really kill it on that style of a course. You know, I'm looking for something like this, or like something like the old X Games in LA, where there's all these drops and gaps.
The schoolyard style,
schoolyard styles, and this is what this was. You know,
and let's be real quick. There was a lot of controversy on this, and you winning it. You know, there was a lot of people like blah blah blah. How you rode it, and I'm gonna just say it. You rode that course that they built, and you murdered it. Yeah, you know,
it's not your fault that the course was
had sick stuff for you.
Yeah.
Fuck up, you know, and I
don't let it get to me. Honestly, it's one of those things. It's like music. It's your opinion, and it's not taken away from because everyone could potentially. I thought Felix rode incredible too. You know, and
Felix did, Colin did,
you know,
Johnny
had
did,
different styles,
Devin did,
different ways.
Chad did.
Everyone put a great run
Boy
together.
Did, you did, Garrett did. That's 8 people.
Yeah, wow.
Everyone killed it.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, don't get too confused because X Games is not a street event. It's a plaza.
Yeah.
It's a plaza. It has quarter pipes in it. It has transitioned
curve
wedges. It has curved wall rides.
And I
it
think
is not
street riding
all
is
shit that I've rode in the streets. Something similar to that, you know. Everything in there isn't like, oh, that's never been in the streets before.
Yeah,
like, no,
but it's not
like
kinked wedges with fucking cracks everywhere and wobbly rails. Well, that one thing was kind of wobbly. I
think the only thing I heard everyone complaining about was the squared rails. There wasn't really any round rails or more BMX influence. But it's so hard because they're trying to cater to both skateboarding and BMX, so they build these. Trying to please both sports, you know, and so that's also hard as well.
Rails though, and then you find those out in the wild, and you got to try and ride them.
Yeah,
there was one thing that I complained about was because, and I was tripping because you got like an 87, and then Garrett got like an 82, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, I'm not gonna say which one of you guys deserve to be in front of each other, but it should have been a lot closer. And that was like the one thing I actually was like, I talked to Biz about because I knew he was judging, and I was like, "What's up with that?" They were like, "How the fuck was Garrett 82 and 87?" He's like, "Dude, that doesn't mean anything. We have to leave a bunch of room. Like if, you know, it would have bumped Garrett up if he would have done a couple, like just whatever he had to do. Like he was right there. He could have passed Kevin.
That makes sense.
But then I was like, but that's fucked up because then Garrett and Chad seeing their scores, they look at it like,
I don't have a chance.
Yeah. So that should have been explained to you guys because even as a fan just watching, I was like,
even as a rider in the event, I'm like, holy shit! Like I'm in the hot seat. This feels weird. Like I just watched Garrett do an incredible run. I'm like,
and he got an 82, and it should have been like, and his run was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I get the explanation.
It was
but I
demotivating
feel like
to a lot of guys.
It should have been closer.
Or clarified. Like, yo, an 82 doesn't mean you're not going to catch that 87. We just have to leave room because in case they had to leave room because there's 8 people in the middle.
I know the judges disagreed on a few things, you know, like the guys that I talked to, they're like, yeah, I had a different order or I had a different, you know, like even for like best trick stuff, like, oh, I had it different, but like there's 3 of them. So sometimes they get outvoted. So it's like, if you look at the whole squad and be like, they fucked up, and it's like, maybe not all of them, you know, or whatever. Like maybe
it's
one
of the rider's fault too. But like I said, I was in the position where my first run really put me up there.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, you know, like I'm nervous now. Like, should I even be in this position? Should I? And then you start even doubting yourself, and it's like, fuck, I have to really now put it together and do the harder shit.
Yeah,
to kind of back yourself up, and so you feel like. My riding is so different. It's so hard to compare my riding to Garrett's. Garrett's on a whole different level of technical riding, and he's so ahead of the game, you know, that it's like, even for me, I'm like, I can't ride like Garrett, you know?
Yeah.
And he's such an incredible rider, and contest rider especially, you know? So same with Chad, you know, Felix. Everyone really killed it. It was so hard for me to just even be in that position, to a point where I was like, should I? Is this? I don't know.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I'm stoked to see X Games build something that actually looks like spots you'd find in the streets rather than something you'd find in the plaza. You know, like every up flat A-frame rail that you find at every California skate park. You know, it's like that's way less street than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
sure.
You're just riding like this tiny little up flat rail that you find at it's like a plaza contest, where this is like this. These are like spots.
I mean,
that weird bank and the curve thing, you find that shit out there.
They put in effort, dude, in all the design and all the spots, and definitely commend them on this stuff. The big drops, like
Yeah.
they
a little bit of everything on this
Yeah.
course.
I'm glad
I had FOMO not riding this because I
Yeah.
was like, that looked like a cool contest.
that was the one thing. Like, so I guess Felix's bike dropped, and at the beginning of Colin's first run, and then he picked it up and he kept going. And then he takes that fall on his knee, and he was like, he was telling me, he's like, I may have fractured my kneecap. Like, he's like, it is like screaming.
Yeah, he had
right
some
now.
dents in there.
Yeah. And so they said that they would give him a fourth run if he wanted it, and he's like, I may not even be able to like take 4 runs, you know?
Yeah.
And so it definitely a bummer. I almost wish he like stopped right then and there and just reset. You know, like he could have, I bet he could have just reset and then did his whole run, and if he would have like been able to, you know, be healthy and not take that, because he took that fall on a run that was essentially a wash.
Yeah.
you know?
And I think Colin's such a cool person to the point that he didn't get mad about it because he knew it wasn't intentional.
Oh, yeah.
So he just kept going.
Yeah.
Any other, I mean, I feel like anyone that would have thought that it was intentional would have completely stopped and been like, yo, that's not fair. I need a redo.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
Colin, we're all friends, you know, and so I think
I just
that
feel
was
like I
a
wouldn't,
cool play
I
as
wouldn't
well.
like known how to act. I've been like, oh, am I fucked or am I not?
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Like
of
I've been
course.
like, should I keep going or should I reset? Like looking for like somebody to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Almost, you know. But yeah, it obviously set
It's an accident. It's uncalled for, you know.
Yeah, and then and it's sick. So Colin won best trick, and then they just opened it up. They just put 9 people in. So they pulled a little audible.
And that is the weird thing. BMX Street should have more people in it.
Yeah.
And there should be more street contests if anyone wants to organize something, because it's just like there's a lack of them.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah,
so
and
many
the-
people I
and-
could think of that would actually do really good in this.
And the
that
lack
have
of street
no-
contests gives less people to have that opportunity to potentially get invited to X Games.
Because it's so hard to invite people off of their video parts, because that has nothing to do with contest riding.
No,
you know what I
Fully
mean?
different, yeah.
So,
Essentially, more street contest.
And it's amazing that
More
there is
jams.
one. So
I mean, even like the cash up jams were like a thing,
Yeah.
because like you're seeing them in different countries all over the world.
Yeah.
and
New
that has that
faces, new
contest
riders.
environment where you see people have to do things quick under pressure. So that gives like an eye.
Only one I can really think of is like Battle of Hastings Simple Session.
was gnarly.
You know?
Yeah.
Even Boyd's riding too is so good. Like everyone could potentially medal in this, you know. And
From second alternate to definitely going to be
Yeah.
added to every X Games.
See, I think what
That was like the one basic trick you did, and it was after like a gnarly 2-3. Like you didn't,
But it was
you
like-
fucking hammered it out. Like
there was so many random fire, like you had rapid fire tricks the entire time, you know. Like I think that's definitely what made it stand out. Aside from the 180 flare, you know, like it wasn't all about the 180 flare. It was kind of a stamp on like a fucking great run in general, you know.
the Vans video we got coming out. You say that's not street, a 180 flare. You have a 180 flare in the streets in the Vans video.
Nope.
you know, like so it's like you found a
It's in
spot in
the
the
street, and
streets. It's like
Yeah.
a bump jump.
I didn't-
It's
I didn't
like
get-
off
I didn't-
nothing. It's insane.
Yeah. I didn't read too many comments, and I did see like, come on, a flare in the streets, that's not street. And I said, I mean, people do flares in the street. How is that not street
Come on,
riding?
three whip in park. That's not park.
Right.
But it's going back
You're
to
riding the course.
Ryan
I'm down
Williams
with it.
is riding dirt. He's not a dirt rider. So there's a lot of guys that aren't necessarily dirt rider only. There's no right or wrong way to do it or ride things.
Yeah.
Everyone killed it. And the one thing I disagreed on was Garrett being so far behind you. I was like, no fucking way.
Guaranteed,
But then
yeah.
when I heard how it was, and they said he really wasn't that far behind you, it made me like, okay. But that needs to be clarified, because I saw the discouragement in a couple people being like, we can't catch
Yeah,
Kevin.
I'm
This is
fucking miles
impossible.
away.
Yeah,
You know, miles away.
Yeah.
82 to 87 is like, okay, if I add another trick, I'm not even there.
Oh, I get a 82.5.
Yeah. But in reality, it's like, no, he only needed a little bit extra, and that would have jumped him up.
Yeah.
But they don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It happened at X Game at Park Japan. Like Logan got scored a little high on his first run, and then he stepped it up like noticeably, and they only bumped him like a 0.5 or something. You know, something real small, and Daniel still won.
Yeah.
And it
I think if you're gonna do numbers, you gotta and you're gonna be that big of a gap. Just put the names in order and don't even show the riders a number.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know how it works. I think it's they go off of where they compare you to whoever's in the lead.
Yeah.
And then they use the numbers after to adjust you with who is before you or after you.
Yeah,
and so,
it's just so
they need a gap in between in case every rider they have.
It's
to
so
have,
gymnastics. Like it's like the score 87.5. You know, it's like what is gained by putting these like arbitrary numbers on stuff if they're not actually attached to anything. And they can't move. You
we
know,
love complaining. We complain when there's no contest, and there's the sickest contest ever. We complain about that fucking score.
Yeah, you know, hey, it's a conversation.
It's such a hard topic. This is why we're not judges.
Yeah,
and the judges that are out there putting in the work mentally and watching.
I just think it'd be cool if they just put it in order. Garrett's in first right now. Kevin's in first now.
That's awesome.
Oh, Garrett's back in first.
Don't mess with the rider's head, because that was the one thing that I saw.
It is discouraging for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it keeps it simpler for everybody, but either way, what else was there? Was there anything else for street stuff? Let me look at my little list. I got a little breakdown while I was.
On the positive, is one of the sickest street courses in a long time, since they used to build 6 street courses. And on the negative, it'd be awesome if there was more riders invited, so more people have a chance.
Yeah.
And then obviously the whole Garrett and Shaun White thing, I guess.
Like still competes.
Yeah, still the gold thing. Like we're talking to Garrett, it just seems like it's just like he can't escape it. Like everybody's talking to him about it.
It must be tiring too.
Yeah,
you know.
So, but this show will happen. Garrett's still the fucking best on the planet. So
greatest of all time, both ramp riding and street riding.
Yeah.
I've seen dirt clips too.
And these big events, they love stories. So I was like, hey, even though BMX Street ain't going anywhere,
definitely,
as long as you're still tied, they got to do it again next year.
Yeah. I know Garrett's incredible with
that story
and stuff, but it definitely messes with your head. You know, they're playing like
it's annoying.
Last rider to drop in, is he gonna break? He's gonna break the world record,
and he's won so many so easily. Now he's stuck.
Yeah.
So he's probably like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Not stuck. It's been like 1 year.
No doubt.
He hasn't won 2 events. How dare he?
Yes. But he did go from unstoppable, only got beat like every 5 years, maybe. Like now he's like, fucker. Like, I'm stuck at this tie.
And the one thing about X Games is the X Games street stuff. You're like, that's not street. It's like X Games is and always has been a TV show. They're gonna find storylines. They're gonna let Colin in because he won this. They're gonna do things that bolster their story and their views and their ratings and et cetera, et cetera. It's not meant to be a core street event ever. And you kind of have to, anybody complaining about that really needs to kind of get that idea out of their head. You know, like it's a lot better when you go like, hey, it's not street. It's
they are
X
paying
Games.
core street riders money, and that's the hardest type of BMX to make money in.
Yeah,
of course. Outside
in all honesty, right now in 2023, being a full-on street rider is the hardest way to make a living.
Any contest that is
and they're paying
a street contest isn't a street contest.
Exactly.
If you really want to put it into perspective, like Rincon is it's a real close as it gets. Yet it's still like, hey, dude, you still have to wait 9 riders to go before you, and a TV intro and a guy holding his hand up to stop you and go.
Snickers commercial. Hold on.
That's not street, bro. Because if any of these guys would fall on one thing, they're right back up and running towards that rail, using that adrenaline, using that motivation.
Yeah.
And then
before the pain sets
in, exactly. So even that alone, like, it's a real street spot, but it's still a production. It's still got timing. They still tell you when to go. A TV show first, which is incredible because they're showcasing BMX in a different aspect, a whole different discipline that really isn't loved throughout major events. So it's sick that they're building courses. They're inviting athletes, like Dennis said. Maybe bigger courses for BMX, more riders.
Yeah,
because I always feel like there should be a whole list of dudes that should be there, that deserve to be there just as much as everyone already in there.
Yeah, run that shit. Run
but thanks X Games for doing what they do, because BMX needs to kind of do that on our own too.
Yeah, no, for sure. X Games gives us the platform for us to showcase not only
and it
our
gives us
riding, but our
ideas to be like, this is how
personality and-
sick it is. Why not? Like now we could make our own things too.
Yeah.
Like, it is time where BMX needs to kind of like take itself over.
Of course, and I think like X Games, they give us the platform, they give us the stage, and it's up to us to grow from there. You know, the BMX Day thing is as raw as it gets.
Yeah.
But then we can still have that fine median of, all right, we're gonna do a street contest, we're gonna go all these different spots, you know, and we're gonna have the best fucking dudes judging it. You know.
Oh yeah.
Or rider judge.
It kind of got me motivated. It'd be sick to like do something, you know.
It could even be like a rider judge from the same dudes competing in the event, plus a few judges for extra opinions, you know, on the technical side.
Oh yeah. Park.
Brains working.
Yeah. Park practice.
I love that thing, by the way.
I didn't get to do the vortex. I wanted to.
Vortex was the coolest thing on the course.
This is pretty crazy because everybody involved in this is all like Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
I was like the only one. I was like, whoa, like
everybody could pass a drug test. Except for
I couldn't. But I'm not an Olympic athlete. But it was amazing to see and get to ride with all these guys because it was super humbling, and the tricks they can do on lock on the quarters.
On those quarters that were...
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was the trick. I played again. Yeah.
Oh.
So that was the 2, and then
Rim's such a cool dude. They're all such cool people, and they have such. Out of all the X Games athletes in the whole damn sport, BMX park riders might be like the most real of athletes. They're on a world tour, like every week, and they're all going to Scotland.
They're in Scotland.
Yeah.
You're
They're in
part of
Scotland.
it.
in 3 days, we're going to Scotland.
Oh,
like
to these guys, this isn't their biggest event.
yeah,
You know,
This is just a part of like
13 out of the 16 are all going to Scotland for
Mm-hmm.
World Championships. You know, and we were just in Brussels 2 weeks ago for a World Cup, and so it is a constant schedule. Change of pace.
Nah,
for the
they're
courses.
athletes, man. They're really like the athletes.
And we
of
have
X
to
Games.
cater to the courses that are built different, you know, and obviously a bowl is so rare nowadays for us to compete in. You know, we don't have Vans Pro Cup anymore, and we will eventually in time, but like these courses are so rare to us to compete in that it completely changes the way you see things and ride.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, a lot of the dudes adapted really well. Like, like you would think Kieran wouldn't be like that.
That's
guy.
what happened recently over the last 4 or 5 years since BMX has been in the Olympics. Like back, these kind of like fees riders and stuff would have had a really hard time on this course, and that's why those Austin X Games people had these chances to win. But now, these guys can ride these courses too.
Yeah.
And as difficult as the courses are, like everyone is so good that they can all adapt to whatever comes in front of them.
First day of practice, I was like, these guys know how to ride this shit.
Not to mention they give us so much time to play on the course, which is key too. You know, like
that's 100% a praise for X Games.
I love that.
The amount of practice time was huge.
Amazing. We got, I think, officially 10 hours on each course.
Yeah.
If you really consider like all the times, but like it not only
park practice was weird though. They tried to like put us in order. Remember, like however many of us, and you had to go in order, and it took so long to ride again. Instead of like, let's just kind of like almost run into each other and rip it, and like ride. And then they changed it, and it was nice. But there was a weird day of practice.
I think they were just trying to figure it out and see if that helped us or made it any better. But I think just the amount of time we got on the course was more than enough.
Yeah.
Not only was it good for us to get used to the course and create something better and see difference better and learn all the different and hard transitions, but it also gives them a better show because we're riding the best of our ability during the show.
100%.
So it's amazing for them too, you know.
By the time the contest comes around, it's like our little.
We're locals,
local
yeah. Like I'd take that home, you know. That park's so sick. I'd take it home and dissect every little piece and corner and learn how to ride it. Really, the hot tub too. I'll take that. It's just cool, you know.
So something that I think maybe people that didn't watch like the videos I put out was that there was 2 groups for qualification elimination. So the top there's 12 riders total, 6 in each group. Top 3 from each group qualified.
Which is a topic that we were all speaking of before the qualification. We all thought they had done this before. They did it in Boise for the qualifier, and then they did it in Minneapolis, and it didn't really work.
Because there's obviously going to be harder groups.
There's going to be, not even that, because they're both just as hard.
Yeah,
for example,
but then when it goes down, like say Marcus was out, he got knocked out and really hurt, but he's healing up, which is great. And then a couple people slipped up in the first group.
Yeah,
in our group, everyone was handling it. By the time we made it to the top 6, I was like,
I gave everything I had.
I felt like all my adrenaline was rushed out. I was like, damn, that was so hard to get into this. And I was just like kind of
for sure, because I think when you really put it into perspective, 6, 2 groups of 6, they're taking the best 3 from here and the best 3 from here.
Not always each group's going to be completely equal.
Exactly.
Even if you try and line the riders up to
even
make it
if
equal.
they're all just as incredible, which they all are, but
people mess up, and people do end up doing really
and
good.
have accidents or have slip-ups. But then there's the scoring, too. So does the scoring even matter anymore? Because, for example, I remember Minneapolis, like, a guy that got 4th in the first group initially, or he scored higher than the second place guy in the other group, so he should have been in, but because he was in a harder heat,
So that was one thing I reached out to Gary and I was like,
oh, so you got the numbers. This is actually what I'm talking about.
So I reached out to Gary and I was like, can you clarify the scores between each group? And he said that they're their own categories.
Yeah.
So
they
because
told us that
because like so John and I mean
86.
basically Rim and John would have been in based off of the scores, but he said that they're not comparable.
And we were told that before the contest, like, hey, like, yes, there's going to be scoring for 2 groups, but you still have to be the best of your 6.
And maybe maybe Scotty explains that on the broadcast, but I feel like it's kind of confusing,
To the crowd, it's confusing because they look at the score and they're like, what?
Yeah.
He should have been in the other group.
And then
it's a weird little format there.
Yeah.
It's a weird format, and I think they're trying to figure it out.
And then an unnamed judge, even though I just said
through.
I talked to Gary, he said that he probably, if it was all together, like a 12-man qualifying, that the finals would have looked a little different.
It would have.
In his opinion, it would have looked different. And it's like, I just don't get what's to be gained. By doing the groups. What's lost is somebody doesn't get in the finals who deserves
a little
to be
bit
in the
unfair.
finals. And
Guaranteed.
what's gained is what? I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, it felt like me, John, and Rim were like,
what's the purpose of them splitting us into 2 groups instead of
it's too many finals or something?
They could have done. They could have still done the 2 groups elimination, but just taken the best scoring of the best 6 of the 12.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like I don't know what the purpose was, or
they must see something for TV or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
what I mean. I only see the negative. I can't really see the positive.
Like a rider, I was like, hey, they've tried this before, it didn't work. I used the same example you're showing the people now, and they're like, yeah, but you still have to be the best of 3 of 6 in your group. Yeah, but how does that?
Was there anybody?
What's the purpose?
Were any of the 12 riders were they like, I want this?
No.
Yeah.
No,
so it's like
we all were like every single.
It just seems like lose it.
We all
lose it next
lived
year.
it before.
Yeah.
And then, or we watched it and saw the same thing that we're showing you guys now.
Yeah. It just somebody. I mean, I would assume.
Brian and thought.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, best seat in the house right there.
I think
he's literally like it's like slow motion. He's like,
it's
so warm.
I think even
That
like
was hilarious.
for not to take away from any of the guys that didn't qualify, everyone that's in this invite list is
incredible
in their own way and brings something different to the table, to the tricks usage, to whatever it is that you enjoy watching.
Yeah. So I think John may have been the one. And then obviously Marcus getting hurt, that was scary. Everybody
thank God he's all right.
Could have seen his Instagram probably at this point, but
praying for a speedy recovery. Marcus, man, you're a trooper, bro, and you were killing it all week long.
So
and
yeah, that gap.
We definitely got luck. Not even lucky, but like, he's doing good, and he definitely shook the world for a little bit. Even everyone that's riding, you guys can see.
So. Had surgery, flew home like the next day, which is incredible. No brain bleeding, no brain damage, just a pretty heavy
he
fracture.
Super lucky, man. Like,
so it's definitely a scary one. And,
it was scary.
And fuck anybody that wants to see the wreck and is posting that shit.
Yeah.
So it's just not cool. Like
one of the worst falls, if not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. It was scary.
It brought tears and so much emotion because it was like the last time I seen someone's hit like that was like Brett.
Yeah.
So I was no fucking way, man. Another youngster that's just
level. And like you never want
his brain seems good.
Yeah. So
he's in good spirits, praying for a speedy recovery, as I said before, and I think this isn't going to hold him back.
Yeah.
To any least, just a little break, to catch up on some.
Beast. Yeah. If he can survive that, Jesus Christ.
So finals happened.
Incredible rider too.
I think the maybe before we get into it, I think
another bit of drama happened in this too, because we only got 2 runs. And
yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. It is when I looked at the official rules, I had the document, and it definitely said 3 runs, and I think Marcus's crash cut into it.
They didn't say it to us, but I think we all knew that it took a lot of time away from the event itself.
Yeah.
Thus taken away from the last run, because they literally had to start the next show right next to us for, on TV schedule. So sadly, it happened, but it is one of those things that wasn't communicated to the riders. We were all expecting one more run, one more try.
I remember Justin. I think
everyone.
Justin was like, "What?" Like on the other side, and I didn't even understand. You guys didn't get a 3rd run. Like I was like, "What is happening right now?"
I heard him say like the winners, and I was like, "All right, it's over."
I had a slip up at the very last trick of my 2nd run, and I like ran out of it, and I was like, "All right, let's go. Let's run it back. Like I'm juiced now. Let's get this." And then I ran up the court, and they started naming the podium, and I was like, "What?" And I think even Jose, who won, he
didn't even know.
He had no idea he had won, because he's like, one more run,
Yeah, he was ready.
Lack of communication, and especially him only really understanding Spanish.
Live TV show.
Live TV show.
It was fast and things happen.
Good old live broadcast.
Look at
that. He's got so high.
Jeez.
Denise Enarson.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Fox.
I think it's fair to say that it's like a dream for a lot of us to just be out there, and like, it's so sick. Showcase our riding, our personality, all the variety, all the different tricks, the creativity that everyone brings to the table,
And I think the elements of like the awning thing, they obviously had BMX in mind with that.
Yeah,
there wasn't any transfers for BMX at all. It was all like quarters to grind and whatnot. But they did add a couple things.
The box was bigger too,
I like the box.
Yeah.
What about there was coping on the lip, which I thought
coping on the box. I think even
nice. I like that.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard Daniel wasn't psyched on it, and I was like, "Oh, that's probably good." And then I heard Daniel go, "No, I don't like it."
I never even noticed there was coping.
I always say it's not to take away from,
but talking about it's like
or tease anybody, but it's like, dude, you guys we're some of the best.
Truck table.
We're considered some of the best BMX athletes in the world. We should be able to like adjust.
Yeah.
I think that's always something. Yeah, obviously they still have to cater to skateboarding, so we have to remember that we can't really hate on something that was built for 2 different.
Because I bet they look at some of these things like, why the hell did you build this? But they're like, for the BMXers,
Yeah, for sure.
We're doing a hybrid course, so it's not.
It's a hybrid course, so they're experimenting for both sports.
I wonder if on the skate side they're like, the box is too big. They have like some 9 clubs like, the box is too big or something like that. And actually, I met Roger Bagley from the 9 Club. He was very nice.
That's cool.
He listens to the podcast. He listened to your podcast. So
sick.
Shout out to Roger. So.
That's awesome. I was gonna say the transition skateboarders are like some of the coolest, like most relatable skateboarders to BMXers. They we all like the exact same thing. The street skaters, I'm sure, are like that too, but they're like celebrities almost.
Yeah,
so you don't really get to meet them. But the transition kids are fucking awesome.
They're all just like little heshes, right?
Yeah, they're just like BMXers.
They love BMX too. It's like I think it's what's real cool about action sports is when it gets to this level of skill, like everyone sees each other eye to eye, which is pretty special,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
No one's too big enough for anybody.
You mentioned Kieran's table to truck. I wanted to give a shout out to Kieran for doing probably the most tabletops out of anybody, and he went the highest in the deep end.
Yeah.
So that's sick. Like you would, like if you're like, all right, you didn't watch X Games, who went the highest and who did the most tables? You'd be
Kieran Riley.
Be like Dennis,
the last person you
Kevin,
would expect.
And you're like, oh no, Kieran, like that's sick. So
but Kieran always throws in a nice little table at all the other events too.
Yeah.
He's got a good bag of tricks, but he still has that balance,
Then he did a triple flare.
Yeah.
Did that cameraman mess you up? I think.
Yeah, in the first run. Yeah. If I would have whipped, I would have hit him.
You would have hit him. Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I was like, all right, 3 runs. This is just for qualifying. I can make do with this.
I was dying in that because you slow-moed it, but then the guy was like practicing. He was like trying to get the motion down, but then you went again, and I think you did the whip, and he literally was still in the way.
And I had told the other guy that was there, I was like, hey, like I'm sorry about you, but you have to move, bro, because I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand, so I had to go over there and communicate correctly.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, dude, if I do a whip, my bike's coming down.
Move, bitch, get out the way.
I would never. No, they're all super nice. They have no idea. They're just trying to capture the best of the best.
Yeah, they're all incredibly skilled in their own field, but they just don't film.
That's awesome. That trick you're doing now.
Another thing to note is we were because of TV time. Our initial runs were going to be 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Which that was shorter than normal.
All got changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And so you guys all came together.
We all came together and said like, "Yo,
30 seconds." We were like, "No way."
I was like, "All right." Well, I thought about it and I said, "Okay, cool." I can just cut my run in half. And they're like, no, but only one run counts. I was like, all right, that's not going to work then. You won't be able to touch the whole course. You're completely killing a whole criteria use of course during a run if you
30 seconds would be cool if you're doing like an actual jam.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was when I heard 30 seconds. I thought it was
no, it's 30 seconds.
Well, that's what I had asked. I said, if you're going to consider all the runs, then that just makes sense. I'll just chop my run in half.
Yeah.
They're like, no, only the best run counts. I was like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, so you guys, I think you guys were rallying for 45.
Yeah, rallying for at least 45, but we got 40 seconds. And even then, I felt like it wasn't enough to me. I felt like I was like, I'm racing through this course, but I still need to get to the deep end. But if I do the run I want to do that makes me happy, I'm at 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is what we're really used to at contests. It's 50, 55 seconds tops.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a hard one for sure because we all had to adapt.
Yeah. Do you think like new owners like of X Games like made a difference with that stuff, or is it how does somebody come up with 30 seconds? Like who?
I don't know.
Would come up with that? You know, like who would be like, oh yeah, they only need 30 seconds.
That one was weird.
I don't know. If I think about it right now,
what?
I'm thinking about like just keeping the excitement going, so it's not like a very long and. You know, because sometimes there is certain runs where it's got like a very powerful intro, and there's a lot of like filler and carving.
True.
And then there's like a few extra hits, but then
this course was so compact. It was like,
exactly. So there was a lot to ride. There was a lot to ride. Yeah. Not enough time.
Yeah. Compact and like from the deep end to the mini ramp, unless you're doing the Marcus transfer,
you couldn't really get.
You can't go back and forth. Like it was all like close. It was like two sections completely far apart. Yeah. So it was like.
It was hard,
you needed to rip around to get to both ends.
Did anybody get a clip of Marcus's transfer? I watched it one time and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!"
He only did it like 3 or 4 times, and every time I was standing on the mini, I just like, "Oh my god!" And you think he's done, and he pops out perfect.
I watched Nyquist film it in practice. He has like a dial in practice.
All right, Nyquist.
I saw like a few phone angles of the crash, but I refused to watch it. It was one of those things. I have it. It's like just delete it. You don't need to see it.
I saw it at the because they were curious. Like I think your family was actually like I think I showed it to Eddie and stuff. But I was like,
yeah. It's one of those
and
things
then one dude was like trying to walk up, and I was like, you need to back away.
Yeah, and then a lot of the people were coming over. They're curious. They're worried for the athlete, or just it's one of those delicate. Situations,
especially when you don't know the outcome. So
all you can do in the moment is just pray, trust God, and wish him the best. There's not really much we can do. We're not medics. Almost fell off.
Yeah, that's the
one Dennis said.
The stinky knee.
That was awesome. Like you're falling off and then just.
Yeah, it just can't. The knee comes back in. Kick a whip.
Oh, that thing was inconsistent to get on. There wasn't like a straight line at it.
Oh yeah. You guys, from the first time you guys started jumping on it to like the end, it was a grab bag when you guys first started jumping on it. So.
Yeah, it took a while for all of us me, Kevin, and John to figure it out.
And shout out to Jose. I don't even know if I put. I mean, I tried to like.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that fucking 3-no-hander. And obviously he was going.
Honestly, since the beginning, him and Marcus. Well, Kevin obviously, everyone was killing it, but him and Marcus were the ones I was like, you guys are really riding this good fast.
And the whole course.
The whole course, blasting tricks. Ooh. That was crazy.
Yeah, good save.
That could have been the difference between first and second, or first and whatever place you would have got if he would have fallen right there. Because that was in his banger right here. Just barely got on, but he just did it.
A little pedal flip, Jose and like everyone else, they're so incredible, man. Alley-oop too was cool.
Yeah, that was sick.
He did the big stuff and then the simple hard stuff too. Like he did a really nice mix. But yeah, if there was that third run. Logan was ready to step up. You were ready to step up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have moved up.
Logan probably was confused too, huh?
Everyone was. I'm telling you, I ran up the deck and they were at podium and we were all looking at each other like, what?
I kind of want to see Logan in the background. Well, I guess
he's on the deck. Like
Logan's such a good sport and such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Logan was already getting off because there had been like a little 3-4 minute like window from.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely.
Look at the hole in his shoes. That's what he's doing all this stuff in. He has holes in his shoes. That's our Willie. He's got holes in his shoes.
I actually sends him stuff.
You know what's funny is I have a clip of him.
He likes them though. He's like, I don't want to. I still got these things.
Wear and tear test.
He's like, he's tying his shoes and he's doing it in such a particular way. And I was literally, for some reason, I was filming him tie his shoes, and they were just his laces and his shoes are just fucking tattered. And it was like so funny to see him like nitpick his shoelaces and just how destroyed it is.
I think we all know as much as it feels nice to have a new pair of shoes. It's like when you get when you break in the ones you like and
he said those are years old. I think like over a year old. And with
what a trooper! I mean, that's the wear test that we're looking for bands.
Jesus, it's too funny.
Putting in the work on the shoes. He just slid into that, looked like a hole. It just disappeared. Best
Beautiful.
trick.
Beautiful.
First tee. Well, I guess
Gosh.
second tee technically, but you change your shirt. This is a different day.
Different day.
Different day.
Sunday.
He was X Games superstar.
I just wanted to get a little redemption from it.
4.
Messing up in my
That's
run.
insane.
4 over that, 2 on that big quarter. Kieran Riley.
That was probably one of the
That's
best
an
quarters,
animal.
though. Like, more BMX style.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah,
a nice
very.
transition. But then the
That
nicest
too,
quarter, they put the
man.
hole in the middle,
Yeah.
which I think is cool. But I'm
I
sure
mean,
a lot
gives
of
it a
these
little
guys-
challenge to the easy riding.
Daniel murdered it all weekend, too.
That
Didn't-
trick's hard
So,
alone, and the box is
I think
small.
Daniel rode more events than anybody. 5 events. He said.
5 events.
Daniel
he
murdered
did.
it all weekend.
Yeah.
He
He,
did. Yeah.
yeah, he didn't get like the love,
4 events.
all the time. But man, he
5.
shout out to
Best
him. He
trick,
murdered it all
Park,
weekend.
Yeah, 5 events.
5 events. Yeah, he
What
was.
a trooper.
Yeah,
He
he was
murdered
more.
it.
Yeah, and he did good at all of them. It
He
just
did
kind of
good at all
like
of
missing the
Yeah, I think he
just
got
kinda-
4th at Mega Park and
Yeah, and then
best trick.
bad luck at dirt, and then just fucking best trick. Dirt was insane. Obviously, meddled here, and then park he was just off the bubble too.
Yep.
So.
It wasn't even bad luck at dirt. He murdered it, and his run was just outside of making it
Just
in.
making
So then
it
the
in,
run he
yeah.
was
Well, I
going
was
to do
saying
would have qualified first. It was like the
Yeah,
difference of
yeah.
like his safety run was like 10th.
Yeah.
And then his run that he was like, all
He
right,
could've
I got to do
fucking
this. That could have won the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how crazy the difference was.
Yeah.
It was like the
Well,
tricks
that's
he
the
would have
level of
added.
riding nowadays. Qualifying is just as hard.
Yeah. And so was that a 10? What was
That
that?
was
So
a,
that
that
was
was
a
a
9
that was a
bar.
9 bar.
But
And
then he did a what's more than a 9? The 1260?
1260.
1260. So he was like, well, fuck it, I can't pull the 9, so I'll just go.
Spin
I'll
again.
just go.
And he does one where he lands fake. He does like a 1080 to fake. 1080
Yeah.
bar to fakeie. Just
He can
gets
get
out
out
of
of
it.
some-
So
he
well,
can
that
get
was
out of
that
some
was
shit.
nasty too. That 3 double whip down.
Well, so before he, I was like, because I was asking everybody, I was like, where are you doing your thing? He's like, there's no good quarters, so
He had no
right next to
idea.
the hole.
yeah. He's like, I'll do it I think I'm gonna do it on a small quarter, and then obviously he tried it one time.
He's like, nope.
and then he went to the big quarter. And then he just like,
Yeah.
and then it didn't work, and then he's like, all right, I'm just gonna add a spin. It's so crazy.
Varga trying
The
to-
mentality of it,
Yeah.
and he's so Canadian. He's like, just send it.
This was really cool too.
Yeah. He almost pulled the double whip first go.
Yeah, he's cool. 720 double whip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that it's a good box for all the ones they've recently had at X Games, but yet it's still small for
still
all these
small,
big
right?
tricks.
Yeah.
From what we're
That's
that's the one.
insane.
Ugh.
Ooh. If for our Willie, he never rides boxes that
Yeah,
small.
he was.
Even though it's a nice big box, but compared to that first set dirt jump, it's a lot different. Oh my gosh.
And the wheel just
He's an
gave.
animal.
He
Just
is.
really
Gave
takes
up.
some hard slam. This was amazing, Kevin. I was already at home Sunday morning about to go ride a plaza and just get feeling good. And then I seen this on Instagram and I'm like, Kevin, what is he doing? He's still going.
So
Good job, Kevin. Good job, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah,
Being a
everyone killed it.
judge, we'll go over that a million times, but it's got to be the hardest thing ever at the craziest contest ever.
It was,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
it was.
like Fudger said, one of the
Yeah.
best X Games ever in
Yeah.
the recent years with people again. I
Yeah.
think a lot of us were feeling off of that.
yeah.
Having the crowd there sold out, all the bleachers were full. A lot of families were there because there's a lot more space to have people there. It just
Yep.
made it feel like I never got to ride the X Games ones. Oh, the LA ones.
Yeah.
And so when this felt like the ones I used to watch on TV.
And I felt like the
you know?
vibe from the crowd. It was like, I don't know if it was like a post-COVID thing where they're like people are excited again, but like I feel like
It's very genuine, so
a
much
California crowd. They're like, why
Pretty
don't
numb.
you do 3 backflips?
I don't know.
You
Staples Center
like,
was always sick, though.
were the crowd was super hyped. I mean, I felt like
Austin
they were
was
just
sick, and then
screaming
when
the
it moved to
entire time.
mini, yeah, it was like a festival.
mean,
Just
yeah,
good vibes.
I just that's what I mean. Like, I feel like there's like that post-COVID vibe where like we're outside, we're surrounded by people, we're seeing this. This is crazy.
And
we
it
didn't
was
get to
more-
see this for
and there
3
was like
years.
a lot of like cool vendors on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, like
cool
real
vendors, cool
festival vibes.
activities. Yeah, cool
Yeah.
activities.
You
for
could
the
have
kids to
fun.
do.
You could go watch motocross. You go have fun again. You could go
and everything.
do
was
this.
in
Your
the-
parents are having some Pacificos. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
it was fun. Like
Even like the
should
commentators.
have had Dales.
I know.
Should have had
Dale's
Dales.
up there.
Even the commentators too.
Dale's
Yeah,
the
the
best.
commentators
Yeah.
during the whole contest, keeping up to date. Like, they have Scotty there on board with BMX. Like,
Yeah.
no better person to be
rooftop
on.
announcing a couple of events. Daryl was Daryl.
Daryl, I
No,
saw
he
Daryl.
was there.
Daryl was on site. Like
Yeah,
you
he was
hear
on
him
site
when you're
microphone.
riding.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He
So
was like the crowd announcer.
but yeah, shout out to the whole X Games crew, all the probably,
social media and
yeah.
everything. They're so good with showing love to every sport and every discipline. I thought they're super up to date with it. I think it's incredible.
The little bit of negatives that we talk about are just things that
There's always room
we should
for
run
perfection.
our own events and take those negatives.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they're negatives, but like
meant to be constructive more.
Yeah,
than
it's
anything.
constructive, exactly. Because we're humans. We can, even with our riding, we can all perfect. You can walk away with a medal, yet you're still thinking of what you could have done better to perfect that. You know, it's not negative. It's constructive criticism to perfect what we already have.
Great job out there, Kevin.
Yeah,
it was
dude.
so
Thank you,
motivating and inspiring seeing
Mega
your
Park
priming,
24.
man. You're just skyrocketing right now. Fudger, all your videos on RBMX got everything.
Oh yeah, I tried.
I
tried
dropped
to get
a Friday video that's probably out now. So a little
Just
behind
flowing
the
good,
scenes
you know.
about my
The
Motel 6
energy was
experience.
good. You know, we had everyone there. Besides the few little injuries that we got to watch.
Oh yeah, and
they're doing okay.
Brady's doing fine too.
Brady's
Brady
doing
took a
fine
fall.
too. He took a fall in Best Trick, but even then, it was like the energy was so good. It was so genuine. Everyone was in a happy place. They did the real nice Pat tribute earlier in the week too, which kind of like
that was huge.
It was nice to catch up with everyone and see everyone. It was such a nice way to
Jamie
do that.
Bestwick flew out in particular just to do that.
Just to
So
do the
literally just
tribute
to
during
talk
the
about-
event. They had the whole event there.
That
to
was
support
another
that,
thing
like-
too that was crazy that we haven't talked about yet. Is I felt like Pat was riding with everyone in every event the whole time.
Yeah.
It was always
everyone.
Like Pat was there.
He was
Pat felt
everyone's
like he
friend
was
there
all
supporting
the
each
time.
other.
There was so many
Family
time
was
in
there.
park where I was like, man, I want Pat here. You know.
So
But it was
yeah,
like, he
dude,
is
so
here.
Cool.
Like,
So cool to see his
And-
family there, alive and well.
and then the dirt contest happening was so fucking. The energy was so high and the riding was so good. And I felt like Pat. This is like he would have loved this course. Like you would have just been drooling over it.
Yeah.
But he was there riding with everyone.
Everyone showing love
Pat-
from Moto guys. Everyone was doing it for Pat, you know. And I think
skaters had Pat
skaters
shirts
had
on,
the
Moto
Pat shirts
dudes,
on. You
all
know,
the
like
BMXers, like
it's just cool. There was so much love shown, and I think the community really stands behind that and like using that motivation during the whole week.
Yeah.
Everyone, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
It's incredible X Games, incredible times,
And then
moments
when
I'll
Pat's
cherish
on
forever.
your shoulder, man. Like
He tell you
just
get
better.
that shit done, and that was definitely
Yeah.
one of those things. A 3-whip, I think he would have done. If not, he would have
Oh,
pushed
yeah.
me to do it, getting it done anyways. You're not gonna do that 3-whip off of that? I know you got that. Or he would have been like, if you're not doing that shit, I'm gonna do it. You know,
Yeah.
so
Fucking flip drop off of it. Or
you know,
something.
like,
Yeah.
and so that's the mentality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
But hell yeah.
Cool. I think X Games. I think the 3-year contract or something. So Ventura
Back
2024. I
And
heard
then
some
make
other
it come back.
rumbles of other things. So that's cool. It's cool to
Buy
try.
those tickets quick because that shit was sold out.
It's sold out, and now that the communication's out there with people being on the stands too, you definitely want to be up there for the show,
Yeah.
for Park especially, you know, and just all the disciplines show love to everyone. I think it's super important to have the people there, us as riders, but also as fans of the sports in general, you know.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to the riders. Shout out to X Games.
Thank you.
RBMX got all the videos.
Yeah. I tried. Shit talking.
Peace.
Thank
See you later.
Cool. 100 hour.
Oh, yeah,
20.
giveaway.
We did good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the giveaway.
And the
if you wanna-
giveaway.
if you want to do that stuff, we got that. So, cool. Thank you for all the sponsors for BMX Day as well. I'm gonna forget them: Haro Premium,
Yeah, anybody
Fit,
that
S&M, SD Wheelworks, Monster, of course, etc., etc. Dennis is leaving; he has to poop.
Anybody that supports the culture, the BMX, and the next generation that's going to fall into the sport. So
Hell yeah, cool. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
good
you,
luck.
guys.
Good luck in Scotland.
thanks.
That's insane.
Everyone else too.